WWE have already made a splash this year, signing several high-profile free agents, including the likes of Penta, Rey Fénix, Malachi Black, Miro, Ricky Saints, Jordan Grace, among others. Now, when it comes to these signings, many are expecting WWE to continue making these high-profile signings into the second half of 2025. So that raises the question, just who are WWE going to sign next? In this countdown video, we'll discuss 5 names that WWE could be signing in the very near future. We'll let you know in this countdown video. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of stories to get into in the world of professional wrestling. Before we begin, you can see right there, we are currently at 22,103 subscribers on that road to 25k. Initially, our goal this year was just to hit 20k. We've smashed that. Now the road is to 25k. So if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe. Join the ever-expanding WNU, that being the Wrestling News universe. In addition, you can become a member of the WN365 roster. Links in the video description below. You can also click the join button or scan the QR code when it appears on the sidebar. You get your badges, your emojis, and your exclusive members-only content. In addition to the sidebar, you can see all of the upcoming watch-alongs and post-shows we've got here live on the channel. That includes this weekend, we've got WWE and AAA Worlds Collide, as well as WWE Money in the Bank, a watch-along and a post-show live here on the channel. So, into today's countdown video. And as I said in the intro, WWE already has signed several high-profile free agents this year. And as we enter into the second half of 2025, many expect WWE to continue. We've seen WWE sign and re-debut or debut the likes of Penta, Rey Fénix, Malachi Black, Miro, Ricky Saints, Jordan Grace, and many more. And now there are several more high-profile free agents that could be available for WWE to sign to make their debuts in WWE or return to the company that they previously used to work for. Let's get into 5 names that WWE could be signing in the very near future, beginning with a bit of, I guess, a technicality on this one, because Mariah May looks to be signing with WWE imminently. Now, as of right now, at the time of recording this video, Mariah May has still yet to put pen to paper on a WWE contract. That's because technically, as of right now, seemingly she's still under contract to AEW. Now, recently, and when I say recently, at the time of recording this video, that being Friday, May 30th, it was announced, or revealed anyway, that Mariah May had been removed from the AEW roster page. Now, why is that significant? Well, certainly in AEW, whenever a talent is removed from the roster page on its official website, as has been seen with the likes of Penta, Rey Fénix, Malachi Black, Miro, Ricky Starks, and others, once they have been removed from that roster page, that is an indication that they have left AEW. Now, according to subsequent reports, there was suggestions that actually she wasn't officially gone just yet. Her representatives, when people reached out for comment on the story, said that she was still technically under contract to AEW. Now, again, that was on Friday, May 30th. There could be a suggestion that maybe her AEW contract expired on Sunday, the 1st of June, or maybe officially today, that being Monday, June 2nd, she's now officially a free agent, and that would mean that she is free and clear to sign with any pro wrestling company for that matter, let alone WWE. But all of the reports suggest, and certainly as soon as it was announced that she had been removed from the AEW roster page, all sources and reports indicated that indeed she was going to be signing with WWE, and it wasn't too much of a surprise. We haven't seen Mariah May since March. Her final match for AEW was the Hollywood ending match against Timeless Toni Storm, bringing their iconic feud in AEW to an end. Really, it's been her one big storyline since she came into AEW in 2023, which was as the protege, as the fangirl of Timeless Toni Storm, eventually, buddying up with her, emulating her, eventually turning on her. In addition to that, taking her title, eventually Timeless Toni Storm would take it back. There was lots of references to, old-time Hollywood movies, etc., etc. And it was a very well-received feud, well-received angle, well-received heel turn, and well-received matches every single time that they locked up. And it certainly was a Hollywood ending for Mariah May. But after that, we haven't seen her. She's barely been referenced on AEW television. And the reason why is because she was expected to be leaving the company, and sources had suggested that indeed she had told AEW even prior to the Hollywood ending that she wasn't going to be renewing her contract, ending her time in the company around 2 years. And it's always been Mariah May's dream to wrestle for WWE. If you're not familiar with Mariah May's past, prior to even becoming a professional wrestler, she was a well-known social media influencer, regularly talking, tweeting, posting about WWE in the context content creation space. She modeled WWE shop products, had lots of WWE shirts that she used to wear, and went to several WWE events and posted about going to said events. She was very, 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 very much a big WWE fan. She was a big Triple H fan. She attended WrestleMania 38. So many people did really see this coming. So it's not too much of a surprise. But given her work in Stardom, now AEW, many are expecting big things for when the glamour finally debuts in WWE. Next up, again, this one's kind of a technicality, but El Hijo del Vikingo. Now, the reason I say this is a technicality because El Hijo del Vikingo is contracted to AAA Lucha Libre Worldwide. He is the current reigning AAA Mega Champion in his second reign of the championship after recently defeating Alberto El Patron, of course, better known as Alberto Del Rio, during his time in WWE. But the reason I say it's a technicality because anyone that's under contract to AAA right now is under contract to WWE/TKO because, of course, it was announced over WrestleMania weekend in a bombshell announcement that really nobody saw coming, which was that WWE had acquired AAA Lucha Libre. They own 51% of that company. Now, the AAA Lucha Libre worldwide promotion is under the TKO Group Holdings brand, and the first show that is going to be co-promoted by AAA and WWE is going to be Worlds Collide. That comes up this coming weekend, in which El Hijo del Vikingo will be a featured performer in a headline spot defending the aforementioned AAA Mega Championship against Chad Gable. We've seen Vikingo numerous times since WrestleMania on WWE television. We saw him ringside during WrestleMania 41, getting involved in the El Grande Americano versus Rey Fenix match. We've also seen him get involved on WWE television on Monday Night Raw, also getting involved with Chad Gable, El Grande Americano, etc. And many have speculated we could actually see El Grande Americano versus Vikingo at a match in AAA in Mexico, maybe a mask versus title or something along those lines. So yes, he is still technically under contract to WWE already, but he's being used primarily for AAA, and he's under a AAA contract. Many expect Vikingo to be the featured performer in AAA. Now, of course, he has performed in AEW numerous times when they had a working relationship with AAA, and many people highly praised his matches with the likes of Kenny Omega and others. But Vikingo, he's a young talent. Yes, he's had a couple of injuries here and there, and obviously, that's what people have been worried about. His in-ring style is very high-flying and quite dangerous. Maybe that has led to some of the injuries that he has suffered during his short career. But as I mentioned, he's only 28 years old, and he's really seen by many as a bit of a prodigy. And many expect him to eventually transition over to WWE full-time after his run in AAA has concluded. So, whilst he is technically under contract to WWE right now, many people expect him to be a full-time WWE performer as opposed to a AAA performer at some point in the near future. Now, let's move on to The Righteous. The Righteous, of course, a former Ring of Honor and also AEW tag team, but again, they are no longer under contract to AEW, and many people have been quite surprised by this. Now, The Righteous, of course, as I mentioned, they were in Ring of Honor. They were a part of the Kingdom when Ring of Honor folded and was sold to Tony Khan. The Righteous actually went over to Impact Wrestling for a period of time. They were part of the, they appeared in a couple of segments and a couple of matches, etc., etc. But eventually, they went to AEW and / returned to Ring of Honor at the March 31st, 2023 Supercard of Honor pay-per-view. Vincent and Dutch returned to the promotion. And they actually appeared on a couple of AEW pay-per-views. They challenged for the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championships, held at the time by MJF and Adam Cole. They were unsuccessful in that attempt to win the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championship. And during that period of time, they actually had quite a few vignettes and promo segments on AEW television. They were getting popular. They had a catchy theme tune, a catchy catchphrase as well. At one point, seemingly, they were going to be aligned with Jake the Snake Roberts as well. And many people thought that was going to be the beginning of something. There was a period of time just before they left AEW that they did a promo or a vignette with Elijah, and people thought that the former Elias was going into AEW, but then he signed with TNA Wrestling. So we knew that wasn't going to happen. But the reason that the Righteous could certainly end up in WWE is they've been linked to WWE before. Before they actually signed with AEW and Ring of Honor, around the time in sort of 2022, there was rumors and discussions that Vincent and Dutch were going to be on their way to WWE to be part of a faction with the late, great Bray Wyatt. This was at the time that Bray Wyatt had just returned or was returning to WWE television. Of course, he returned in 2022 at Extreme Rules, and he was having a new version of the character. This was post-Fiend. This was going to be something different, and there had long been rumors of a Wyatt 6 faction, which, of course, we now know. We see on WWE television most weeks with Bo Dallas, Uncle Howdy, Bray Wyatt's brother, actually, Taylor Rotunda, being involved in leading that faction. But there were rumors and reports that this was something Bray Wyatt wanted to do all the way back in 2022. And the people that you see on screen on WWE television every single week, the likes of Dexter Lumis, Joe Gacy, Eric Rowan, Nikki Cross, and others, were all people that Bray Wyatt wanted to have in his faction. But there were reports and suggestions that the Righteous were also going to be involved. I mean, if you see a Righteous vignette, a Righteous promo, it's very Bray Wyatt-esque. It's very Bray Wyatt. Waylon Mercy, who of course was someone that Bray Wyatt based the character off. So there were certainly crossovers and people thought it would be an easy fit. Of course, it never ended up happening. The Righteous never ended up signing with WWE. And of course, Bray Wyatt sadly passed away in 2023. But when it comes to the Righteous joining WWE, we feel like that one isn't over just yet. I mean, the Wyatt Six could be an expanding faction. We've seen them recently on SmackDown get involved in tag team wrestling. Perhaps, maybe the Righteous could either be a feud to feud with on SmackDown in the tag team division, or they could be the two newest members of this cult-like family faction. We'll certainly see, but it would be an easy fit and you would think a smooth transition for the former AEW and Ring of Honor tag team. Now, Saraya. Now, it feels every single time we talk about possible signings and possible returns that Saraya's name comes up because, of course, she's got this huge history with WWE. She is now no longer a member of AEW. She arrived in 2022, and really, again, it's her departure from WWE and her arrival in AEW that makes this one feel like it's so likely. Of course, Saraya Paige, during her time in WWE, she announced her departure from WWE in June of 2022, effective the 7th of July when her contract would expire, and it ended her near 11-year tenure with the company. Now, just after she left and this announcement was made, obviously the Vince McMahon scandal happens. Vince McMahon retires from the company. Triple H gets creative control of the company, and all of that changeover is happening. And Saraya, even after she signed with AEW, she did an interview and she actually openly admitted that people within WWE, namely Triple H, called her to say, hey, do you want to come back? We'll bring you back. In addition to bringing you back, we'll take a look at your neck. By that point, Saraya had been retired for several years following the neck issues that she had sustained back in 2017, announcing her retirement in 2018. And WWE and Triple H were going to look into getting her cleared. Saraya at the time said no. She wanted to focus on outside projects and wanted to sign with a company that would let her do outside projects, and that was AEW. So she signed with AEW. She ultimately did get cleared, had matches in that company. Maybe the run wasn't what people had hoped it was going to be. She did win the AEW Women's World Championship at All In her home country of England at London's iconic Wembley Stadium. Certainly a high point for her, but the Outcast faction and everything else that happened just never really went the way that people thought it was going to go. She had her last match in October of 2024 during a match on Title Tuesday of AEW Dynamite, where she lost. That would be her final match of the company. She announced that she'd be taking a hiatus from wrestling in November of last year. In March of this year, she announced a departure from AEW, ending her near 3-year tenure with the promotion. And many people ever since have suggested that she could be on her way back to WWE. Now, she has suggested that for the remainder of this year, she's going to focus on outside of wrestling endeavors like her podcast and maybe some other things. But Saraya's home and really where she made her name is WWE. And with a pay-per-view or premium live event like Evolution 2, that being an all-women's pay-per-view coming up later on this year, it just feels like this would be an inevitable time for Saraya to make a big return and a big splash in WWE, returning at the all-women's premium live event. And finally, Ace Austin. This one was a real surprise to see Ace Austin leave TNA Wrestling. Ace Austin, of course, a featured performer in TNA Wrestling for a very long time, still incredibly young, only 28 years old. Now, Austin had achieved a lot, certainly a lot during his time in TNA Wrestling. As I mentioned, he had been signed with the company for about 6 years, arriving in 2019, and he had won, as I mentioned, X Division championships multiple times, 3 times to be specific. He was also a 3-time TNA World Tag Team Champion as part of the ABC Tag Team with Chris Bay. And many people did think that maybe Chris Bay and Ace Austin were going to leave and be a tag team in another promotion, maybe like WWE or AEW. But actually, there was obviously the injury suffered by Chris Bay. He was paralyzed for a period of time. Looks like he's going to make a recovery where he can walk and he does have feeling in his limbs, which is fantastic. It left Ace Austin in a bit of a weird place where he was no longer a tag team wrestler. Was he going to go back into the X division? Not really sure. But he was a featured player in TNA Wrestling and considered to be a name that many people thought would eventually win the TNA World Championship. Of course, that didn't happen. His contract expired actually in May, and in addition to that, with his contract expiring in May, there were reports at the time that TNA was looking to negotiate, they were looking to talk, and there was hope that Ace Austin would sign a new TNA Wrestling contract. It didn't happen in the end. It was announced that he was a free agent, and he wasn't going to sign with TNA Wrestling, and now he's free to sign with anywhere he wants. And you feel like, given his age, his look, his athletic ability, and experience, Ace Austin going to a WWE would be a no-brainer. As mentioned, he's still only 28 years old, so he's barely even hit his prime as a performer, but he's still been competing at a high level for a long, long time too. Maybe he does have some work to go and would maybe go into NXT and develop there first, but you feel like he'd be the exact kind of profile that WWE would be looking on acquiring. So Ace Austin to WWE, you feel like that would be tailor-made and a perfect fit for each other. So there you go, guys. There are 5 names that WWE could be set to sign in the very near future. Let me know your thoughts, your hot takes, your opinions in the comment section below. Which ones are more likely than others? Which ones do you think are, that's not going to happen? Which ones do you think that's definitely going to happen? Let me know your reaction in the comment section below. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, as you can see right there. We're at 22,103 subscribers, so if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe. Join that ever-expanding WNU. In addition, you can become a member of the WN365 roster. Links in the video description below. You can click the join button or scan the QR code when it appears on the sidebar. Speaking of that sidebar, you can see all upcoming watch-alongs and post-shows we've got here live on the channel. That includes AAA and WWE Worlds Collide this Saturday. And then later on in the day, we've got WWE Money in the Bank with a live watch-along and a post-show for that as well. I appreciate everyone for tuning in, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.